Hey, what's up, guys? It's your girl, Andrea Griffin-Rogers here, and I am back. Woo, come on, Jesus. Yes, I had an amazing sabbatical. God is moving, and baby, he gave me a word today on my day back that I had to come on here and share with you guys for this spiritual wellness check-in, and it is the buck stops here. You heard me. The buck stops here. And so I was like, oh, God, okay, you got to dig deeper with that with me. And he says, tell my people that it is time to quit with the cycle. Things have been transpiring in your bloodline, what they call generational curses or cycles, until the buck came to you. And you have to have that mentality that the buck stops here. I don't care how long it's been in this family. I don't care what anybody else has done or did not do or did not accomplish or did not achieve. I am setting my mind and my goals today, this very day, this very moment that you come across this message, because there are no coincidences with God. It is a divine awakening assignment for you that says, wake up. The buck stops here. Even if it's, you're dealing with mental struggles or challenges, and you're like, well, you know what? My mama had anger problems, so it's okay. My daddy had drinking problems, it's okay. No, it is not okay. You know it's not okay. You keep trying to sell yourself on a lie that it's okay because you want to be comfortable in your mess. But God says, oh, no. In this season, I'm shaking it up. You can no longer be comfortable anymore. I need you to wake up, because the buck stops here. Yes, I allowed you to see that. Yes, I allowed you to go through that. It wasn't for you to just think that it's okay. It was for you to see that there's a problem that needs a solution. And the solution is you. Yeah, see, a lot of people see problems in the world. You see even problems in your family. And you're like, oh, okay, well, let me just mind my own business. They ain't got nothing to do with me. Yes, it does. God allowed you to see it for a reason, because it's breaking his heart. It's hurting God. God does not like it. He's not pleased. And so what you are ignoring or trying to overlook because you don't want to roll your sleeves up and do the work, God says, I've allowed you to see it for that very same purpose, because I need you to do the work. Now, no, we cannot be a superhero trying to save everything and everybody. God's not asking you to do that, but he's asking you to take a stand on one thing, on one issue. And so, for example, if you know that alcoholism has been a problem in your family, why just say, it's okay, I'm going to just go ahead and keep drinking. I'm going to go ahead. It's just a little glass of wine. It's okay. I just said, It's not. Because if you have more empty alcohol bottles in your house than you do water bottles, that's a problem. And you just think it's not, because you're like, well, I've been around this. I was raised around this. And maybe you saw somebody in your family that, oh, well, they had more to drink than I did. So you feel like, well, there ain't as many beer cans that they had around. There aren't as many gin or any other, alcohol that's around. So it's fine. It's just wine. Okay. But because that is something that is an addiction that runs in your family, if you're not careful, it's running into you and you're not even aware of it. You're so happy to show. I got to be talking to somebody, because this wasn't the important of where I was going to flow, but it is what it is. Okay. You just keep having that glass of wine. Even when you're going through issues in life, your first go-to is, I just need to get me a glass of wine. No. See, that's the problem right there. You are using it as a crutch, just as somebody in your family before you used it as a crutch, because they did not want to deal with their emotions. They did not want to deal with the problems. They did not want to do the work necessary in order to heal. And many people are using different crutches and vices. And maybe it's not alcohol for you. Maybe it's a shopping addiction. And you bought into the lie that says this is retail therapy, and yet you're in debt and you're wondering, like, how do I stop this spiraling effect? Deal with the emotion. Maybe it's a food addiction or an anger problem. Maybe it's not addiction, but you have a very nasty attitude. You're constantly angry and lashing out people. Don't let anybody cut you off. I mean, child, Hulk it comes out of you. And people are like, when did you turn green? I don't even know. Because there's something in you that you're running from and you will not address. And so God is saying today, no, in this season, in this time, this is your wake-up call that the buck stops here. He wants you to be about doing that work. And how do you do that work? You be intentional. First of all, it takes intentionality. It takes you waking up to recognize there is a problem and that you need help. And then the next step is the literally next step. And people that say, oh, it's easier said than done, it's because you're looking at the mountain and making a mountain out of a molehill, excuse me. But it's not. All it takes is looking at the mountain in front of you, but then saying, okay, but what is directly in front of me? See, when we look at a mountain, you're looking up at the problem. But if you look at a mountain when you're at the base level, you're just looking at what's right in front of you. And so you deal with the one issue that's in front of you and you start there. It's like baby steps. You're literally starting small and you take that first step. And then when you achieve that first step and when you deal with whatever that first problem is, maybe it's not the grand, big problem that goes a little deeper into your heart, but it's at least that problem on the surface that happened today, this very minute, this very second. So you deal with that one problem. And then when you can check that off because you handled it the right way and you allowed it to not infect you and not fester and build a weed in your heart of unforgiveness or bitterness or anger, when you are willing to deal with that and forgive and move on and heal, even, because it could be something that hurt you. Okay, we're not going to negate that you have feelings. And it does hurt. We're not robots. We're human beings. And God created us with feelings. So it's okay that you have feelings. Stop, being upset. I saw somebody recently and they were like, oh, I hate crying. They were thinking about a sad memory of someone that they lost. It was their mother who passed away. And they were like, oh, but I just hate crying. Oh, God, I can't stand being emotional. Wow, that's so sad. God is allowing you to feel that emotion for a reason. And honestly, people have the wrong misconception about tears. Tears, the Bible talks about, is what God uses to pour out a garden for you. Like he bottles up every single tear that you shed so that he gives you beauty for ashes, that even if you mourn in one season, it'll be turned into joy the next season. And so if you're too afraid to allow yourself to be vulnerable to deal with it, then you are hindering or blocking your blessing. You are stopping yourself from moving forward to see what God has in store for you because you are too afraid to deal with the issue today. And so let this be a wake-up call. The buck stops here. I'm no longer going to keep running away from my problems. I'm no longer going to keep putting aside my issues. I'm no longer going to keep drinking it down the drain or smoking it down the drain or snorting it down the drain or whatever, or eating it down the drain. Like I'm not going to keep doing this anymore to myself. People make New Year resolutions all the time. And yet by this time they fall off. Why? Because it was a vanity. It was on the surface. It has to go deeper than that. You have to make a conscious decision today to say, you know what? What is my why? My why has to be more important than the surface, more important than I'm just doing it for other people. Last example before I go, I think about the fact, since I was talking about addiction, I'll stay there. I think about the fact that addiction runs very heavily and strongly in my family. And so there are certain vices and things that I just do not do. Now, that doesn't mean that in one season, your girl wasn't club hopping and partying and drinking. Yeah, she did. She had a good time back then, or what I thought was a good time. Because when that wore off, I would be crying myself to sleep. When it was time to come home from the club, I'm crying myself to sleep. And finally, I got to the point where I said, I can't do this no more. And I started asking myself, why? Why do you find yourself here? Why are you crying yourself to sleep? Why did that vice not work? Why didn't the club scene work for you? Why didn't the drinking or hanging out with certain people work for you? What you thought it worked in one season, why is it not working anymore? And it's because it never did work. It was a mask that kept me numb from the reality of what I was going through. And when I finally said, you know, I can't keep doing this to myself because I'm never happy. I keep chasing a high, basically. And then I did the work to deal with me. I addressed the mess. I went deep. I went deep, baby, deep to some things that even happened in childhood that I've been running away from for years because I was willing to get free by any means necessary. I didn't care who said anything about me. And people talked. Oh, yeah, they talked. They didn't think I heard what they said, but I heard. They had a lot to say, baby. But look at me now, because your girl is healed. Your girl is whole, and your girl is taken off. So what they talked about in one season, they're going to see God shine a light in a new season because I, as well as you, were willing to do the work to make a change. The buck stops here. So I got to go, but the podcast is back out now, Agents of Revival. So make sure you go check that out on whatever platform that you're listening to. It's also on YouTube now or YouTube Music, so you can find it there. Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Apple, baby, you name it, it's out there. Pandora. Go find the Agents of Revival podcast by Andrea Griffin-Rogers and get your daily motivation, boo, because in this season, we're talking about vision and we're talking about how to see yourself the right way that God wants you to see yourself and how to attract and have the right people. And that made me removing some of the wrong people. Oh, yeah, boo, we getting into that thing. So make sure that you go and check out the Agents of Revival podcast. All right, take care. Love you guys. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Cause his face to shine upon you. May the Lord God be gracious to you. Show you his favor and give you shalom. Give you his peace. Deuces. Bye.